Everybody, this is Dr. Jesse Jackson III, best-selling author and facilitator of the Don't Kick 'Em Out book and training series. We're doing this video for education leaders so they can help their staff in a very key and critical area, and that is in documenting certain behaviors and writing referrals. This is where we see that where we're not getting the level of improvement and understanding we need to be able to solve negative behavior. Here's the thing about documenting behavior. There's so much to learn from reviewing referrals because it really tells a story. One of the things that I actually do is I do review schools' data, and I do actually read referrals. I mean, of this past 3 days, I have read over 1,000 referrals. I actually do read what the people wrote. Now, where's the value in that? First, I come from a background, and even now, when you work with the insurance company and you are a therapist, documenting certain behaviors becomes critical to even getting paid. When you work in the jail and you document things in that system and you're talking about what the kid is doing, you are literally legally held to a standard of single thing you write has to be correct, and it has to tell a narrative. Now, what causes us a lot of problems with the documenting of behavior and issues is we bring in all these different disciplines together. You have one discipline. So I can tell you, like how I was trained as a counselor, my teacher taught us very simply, write as little as possible. Say what happened, get in, get out. You come have another discipline, which is social work, that'll say, man, write a story. Okay. Then you'll have teaching, and then you kind of see it kind of goes kind of how the teacher feels. If I read some of these things, as I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to read just some snippets of some things that some people wrote that was absolutely on target, and then something that doesn't even tell us what happened. And therefore, we don't even know what to do. So the goal of a behavior referral is to document what the kid is doing. It's there to document what we're going to do going forward. And so that is the really key piece of how to write a referral. So now as leadership, it is so important that you pay attention to what these folks are writing, because if you really get good at reading them, you can start to see it in many cases who the problem really is. You can see sometimes the writer is clearly the problem. I'll show you what I mean here. Now, first, and this is the behaviors I'm documenting here. We're talking about these. So you take one district I have that had 12,000 discipline referrals last year, right? But an overwhelming majority, 9,700 of them, were for what? Classroom disruption. Well, I got over 8,000 different interpretations, though they all check classroom disruption. I got 8,000 different interpretations of what classroom disruption is. So can I solve that? No, I can't. And that's why we're not getting production. That's not why we're not growing and getting gains in an area that we can solve. We have to know exactly what is going on, what exactly the problem is, and we cannot get used to people using language that they want to use. No, it has to be a set understanding of exactly what that means, what they did, so we know what to fix. So when you look at our behavior management and suspension removal zone chart, I put all of the behaviors in a category, but the two I'm dealing with right now are profanity and willful defiance. Profanity and willful defiance. Those are the two that I know that gives a clear indication that there is a huge issue and a deficit between the relationship with the teacher and the kid. There is a disconnect, and you can see it. And even when you read how it's written, you can see it, because what you also notice is when you go to these other conducts, for whatever reason, the writing, for many of us, 90% of the ones I read are very different. The people can get right to what the person did. Okay, this writer observed a weapon. Okay, this writer seen this child grab another person's private parts or things like that. Okay, people can, for the most part, with those, they can get right to it. But where there's the gray area is willful defiance and profanity. So here's how I want to make sure we are writing referrals. And then I'm going to give you a piece of 3, and you can see what I'm saying. So the first thing we want to always do is the writer's name should be in it. Now, why do I have to say that? For whatever reason, still in America, we have districts that don't have electronic systems. We still have people that are doing handwritten referrals. I can't make this up, people. It's happening, right? I have some handwritten referrals on my desk right now. Okay. whatever. It is what it is. So no matter what your system is, if you are not typing it in and it's not already computerized, make sure the writer's name is on it, and then number 2, the student's name is on it. I've seen both not be there. Then the third, we need the behavior violation. Tell me what the kid did. Now, I want it from the handbook, not your version. What rule or violation did this kid break? Okay, in our handbook, in our rule system, so we know what to address. When a lot of things that are going on are really operating in the gray, like a term like disrespect. I mean, totally gray. I mean, what someone is saying is disrespect to another person, you know, they don't see it that way. So what I want to do, and particularly with behavior, you got to move out of the gray, because we have to know what the kid did so we know what to fix. I cannot do something or change a behavior that's gray. Disrespect is gray. You have to tell me what they did. What is the behavior violation? You have to tell me what they did. So, for example, I read this. This is a really good account. So you have one person wrote that a student purposely threw an object across the room at a kid during independent reading time. Okay. The object hit the other student in the back of the head. The kid said, "We were playing around and I didn't intend to hurt anyone." That's what they sent the kid down. That's the paperwork they sent the kid down to the office with. Okay, what do you want me to do with that? Okay, wait a minute. Okay, they're throwing things. They're disrupting the class. Okay, what's going on there? Now I hear the throw. Yes, but do you realize how much we left out? And that's what I'm trying to show you. You cannot practice sending that down and then you'll get mad when that kid gets sent back, because the teacher or the principal or the AP will be like, "Well, I talked to him." Okay, take another one. The writer says, threatening behavior towards the teacher, disrespectful, completed little to no work, talking back, refused to follow direction, moved his seat several times. No improvements in behavior. Okay, you said a lot, but actually said nothing. We know something's wrong. We know the kid is doing something, but what exactly is the kid doing? Moving their seat around. Okay. Is that a violation of your classroom rules? Is this in our handbook? Where's these violations? Okay. Completing little to no work. Okay, I get that. They're not doing work. That's probably the clearest thing. And threatening behavior. What is the threatening behavior? You can't throw out terms that encompass a lot. You have to tell me exactly what this kid did. Do you see what I'm saying? The point is about a behavior referral is I have to act on it. And so you have to tell me what's happening so I know what to fix. I'm not trying to jam you up. I'm not trying to stop anything. Tell me what this guy's doing. Be clear. Take the emotion out of it and clearly tell me how he threatened. What was his threatening behavior so I know exactly what to address and what to fix. Raise your hand if you understand what I'm saying. Thank you. Then you got, so number 4, then describe that violation. Okay, that's what I'm going to. Describe it. What he's disrupting the class. He's making noises. Okay, he threw an object. So like earlier when I read he threw an object, I have had on tape, can't make this up, people, I've had a kid flip a book to a kid that's sitting next to him in another table, and that be written up as throwing things in class. Do you see what I'm saying? I can't, that's not going to be able to work anymore. When you want to start to realize what has caused this suspension ban, it's exactly what I'm reading right now. As you start going through these referrals, you start seeing like, okay, well, it didn't really tell me what he did. And so now we'll have some teachers that are extremely detailed. Now you have this one. And I see here on number 5, I said include the date and the time. So you have on this excellently written referral that documents the time, says that this happened at 12:45. This child, now notice this person did an excellent job writing this, said very disruptive behaviors. Here they are. Out of seat, talking, roaming around the class, not following my directions, When redirected, he responds, "Don't talk to me." Then he mumbles under his breath about the teacher's body and face as well. So she is hearing him insult her, mumbling under his breath. Okay? So that's good, because they're telling me what the guy is doing. I got a date, I got a time. That is outstanding. That helps me in what to address with the kid, in what to exact with the kid. So now, when you see how we dealt with that, now when I'm conferencing with the kid, when I'm conferencing with the parent, I'm identifying the behavior that's not going to be acceptable here moving forward. You see here, number 6, what I like to be included in referrals, because this will stop the teachers from being so frustrated and so upset when they send a kid down or send some paperwork down. Include what is your proactive infrastructure in your class that presents these type of violations in the future. So think about it. If you go back here on this very well written referral, very disruptive behaviors, out of seat, talking, roaming around the room, not following directions. When redirected, he responds, "Don't talk to me. What did I do?" repeatedly. So what is the proactive infrastructure that's in place beforehand, not responding to that? What's there beforehand for that prevents disruptive behavior? Now think about what I'm saying, because I like this to be mentioned in it. Because when the writer says, this youth is very disruptive behaviors in class, talking during my instruction time. So when the writer, I like for the writer to say, the writer listed expectations prior to class, listed, boom, this is not acceptable, boom, boom, boom. After I did that, the youth proceeded to do disruptive behaviors, talking, roaming. Do you see what I'm saying? So the proactive infrastructure says that I was very clear about what I expect up front. I told this kid this is what's happening, and I review my rules every day. So remember, the goal is student management. The goal is to be able to help ourselves in the process of managing student behavior. One of the things, and you'll see in a list I'm going to share with you later, I have a very, very detailed list of what our steps are in the process of student management, because there's a lot of things we can do to help ourselves to manage students. If I know I have disruptive kids, so how am I helping myself? And so when I know I'm dealing with a person like that, or kids who might be prone to that, I have to help myself by proactively saying, here's my expectations. And guys, you do it every single class period. You do it every single day. And I like to always say, how many times at Disneyland or World, when you get on a ride, do they read you the instructions or the expectations? They do it every single ride, hundreds of times an hour. An hour. They do it every time. They don't say, well, you've been here before and you know what I expected. Hey, how many of you have been on this ride before? Okay, you guys know. I'm not even going to read it. They don't do that. They're not lazy about the details. Remember, if I know what I'm dealing with, remember, student management. This is something that, particularly for younger teachers that are learning a new discipline, this is a different kid. And a lot of times we're under that expectation that home training and that somebody else is going to train and teach the kid for me, and it's not going to happen. And that's where the frustration's coming from. It's not going to happen. If it's going to be, it's up to me. And I take ownership of it because I'm getting failed. I mean, nobody's helping me. Sometimes this parent isn't helping me. And when I call the parent up here, they're defensive. They want to tell me I'm wrong. And what did you do to him now? And all that stuff. I don't have time for it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get proactive. I'm going to be proactive in every situation. I'm going to take ownership and do my part. Because when I do write somebody up, I'm expecting the principal to do something. I'm not writing somebody up to go have a talk. When I do write somebody up, you better believe it's going to be worth it. And that principal, I'm going to write it so well, I'm going to tell you, and you go here, number 7. I include what consequence you're expecting. So think this through. This is so important. In a referral, you should at the end state what you're expecting to happen. What are you expecting in this situation from me writing this paper? What is your expectation of happening? What is, based on our rules, what should happen? This kid should receive 3-day suspension. I need to see a parent before this kid returns. This is what needs to happen. This child needs to conference with principal. This child needs this. And remember, they violated your rules. They violated you. So you have to know what should be done. What happens is, and what creates this frustration and this problem is, we're expecting the principals and the APs to do what you would expect them to do. And so we got the teacher expecting blood on every situation. When you unravel a situation and look at it, it didn't require blood. Some required blood and they got to talk. And what was the missing element? What was in writing? So when we get better at these details, and the last one, the reintegration plan for what needs to happen before returning. What needs to be done before you can come back? What is the reintegration plan? Because without a reintegration plan, how did we fix the situation? Okay, let's take this guy here. Very disruptive behaviors, talking out of his seat, talking, roaming around my class, not following directions, then wants to say to me, don't talk to me. So we are in a bad space, me and this guy already. What needs to happen before this kid comes? With a kid like that, that's not a principal. Okay, I talked to him. Now he's ready to come back to class. That doesn't work like that. No way. Because he disrespected me. See, that's disrespect. That's actually breaking down disrespectful behavior. She's saying, the kid said, don't talk to me. What you talking about? And put it in writing. So now I know what disrespectful, willful, defiant behavior looks like, because she put it in writing and used the words. So what do you want to happen prior to the kid what needs to be done before this kid returns? The teacher is the person who decides that, because they have a problem with me. And so they don't have a problem with the principal. And if the teacher understands that, then that gives the teacher the power and the clarity to fix a broken relationship situation with a kid. We're expecting the principals just to arbitrarily have our back us up, and just go do anything. And that doesn't even make sense, because that's what got us to the place where they banned suspensions, because that got abused. You know, we just say, we will write something and say, I seen one that was just really, really, it was really, really, really bad. It was really bad. Kid was written up. He and another student were horse playing in class, and I asked them not to do so. Okay, they're horse playing in class. Got it. Okay, what does our rules say about horse playing? Okay, what do you want to happen with that? She's like, he needs to go home for a few days. Okay. Come on now. That doesn't make sense. You can't you're missing too many steps in between there. Let's go back over the checklist. Making sure your name's there, the student's name there. What is the behavior violation? Per our rules. What rule of ours did they violate? If horse playing is a violation of our rules, no problem. What is our consequence and response for horseplay? No problem. But just tell me what they did. Highlight it. Describe that violation. What did that horseplay look like? What were they doing? Don't throw out blanket statements like use profanity. No. What did he say? Because that's what we need to correct. I don't need to tell a kid, watch your mouth. No. What did you say? Why did you talk like that? Why are you talking in here like that? Why are you talking to me like that? And it needs to get checked and corrected. What behavior is very direct. What we have attempted to do is indirectly respond to behavior issues. But it doesn't work like that. That's a very passive aggressive way. And I'm telling you, that is why we failed. Because we want to indirectly and passively deal with some behavior and discipline is bold. It's very direct. It's confrontation. Confrontation is not negative. Conflict is negative. Confrontation is mandatory to preserve any relationship you value. It is necessary to do with your children. You have to do it with your kids at all ages. You have to be able to stop them in the middle of what they do. You have to stop them. You have to stop employees. Sometimes our teachers are going down the wrong track. They have to be confronted. They have to be stopped. You got somebody constantly coming in late. You got somebody constantly not meeting your deadlines. They have to be confronted. What we like to do often is we like to send the email. A little passive or, kind of, hey, missed your deadline. Hey, and that's fine to send the email. But what I know corrects is this. Hey, you saw my email. I know you opened it. I didn't get your stuff. What happened? What's up? Boom. Because there's something to be said from just direct one-to-one communication. We don't do that anymore. So now when somebody does it, somebody's saying, oh, they're being threatened. Oh, you asked for a lesson plan. Oh, well, you're in a threatening, mean tone. And, I was intimidated by you. That's making an excuse. Come on, stop. We're looking for outs. There's nothing outside of us getting better and learning to communicate and talk to one another and listen. Talk and listen. Not sarcastic, not being a jerk. Talk. And this behavior referral process, that'll get you what you want. Describing that violation, dates and time, tell me what time they did it. Put a timeline on it and include it. What do I have in my class that prevents these things? And then what consequence do you expect? Because that lets me know as an administrator what you want done. And then finally, what's the plan? Reintegration, what needs to be done per you before they come back in my class. Ownership. It's my class. You did it to me. You did it in here. What do I need to do to get right with you to come back to class? That's the formula. That's the way referrals are written. Without that, we got nothing. I can tell you that with full assurity. That is the way things have to be done. And until we do our job and understand the fundamentals of doing it, behavior doesn't improve. This improves behavior because it goes through all of the process. What did I do? Describing it. Okay, review. Why are you talking like that? What are you doing? What is my proactive infrastructure in my class? And now you knew it and you still went against it. Now we're seeing behavioral intent, not horseplay or I was just playing around. No, you knew my rules. You knew what I expected and you still did X, Y, and Z. Now we have a behavior violation. Now we have something that needs to be on paper that needs to get corrected. If it's not done this way, ladies and gentlemen, you will continue to get these horrible, mediocre results, killing trees, right now stuff that we can't do anything with, and you're not going to get the results you want. If you're a principal that is absolutely tired of getting horrible referrals, things that don't make sense, that make you frustrated, and you look and say, what is this stuff? Then you know what you need to do. It's time. It's time. It's time to give me a call. It's time to get your staff the help they need. 2018, 2019 is going to bring us more challenges than we have ever seen. Kids are having more problems than ever before. Families are having more problems than ever before. They're not getting better. Nothing out here is getting better. So to assume this thing's going to change is delusional. You're being delusional. So this is why we are taking the approach we are. We have our training program that now is expanding over the course of the year, which allows quarterly trainings for the staff to get help ongoing. We see no other way to do it, and the people have requested that. The people have requested more help. And so now we know that that is the proven hardcore way to do it. Ongoing over time, being able to hit, address these issues, chip at it. And what we specialize in is we solve problems. We give answers. This is exactly what I have to do. I mean, in the juvenile system, they got to have answers. I mean, I can't tell a judge, and the judge say, well, what did he do? And I come make up some answer. I'll end up in jail as the writer of that report. I got to know what's going on. I got to say what exactly the kid did and what was our prevention in place of it. Now, what are we going to do after? The judge wants to know a plan for that kid. So before I go to a judge about anything about a kid, I need to be able to have went through every single one of these steps. And that's exactly what our school system is. When you send it to the principal's the judge. You want results. When I send some paperwork on a kid's behavior to a judge, I want them to get a year. minimum. So that means I got to know what I'm writing, what they did, and it's got to be all my ducks in a row. You can be taught that. You can learn it. We have done it, and so we know you can learn it as well. I'm Dr. Jackson here. I'm very hopeful that these things help. I'm really excited about the upcoming year. If you know you need help, guys, you got to get in there really, really early. We're operating at a max capacity schedule, meaning everybody's waking up and getting help and starting to realize, who do you call? The person who gives you answers. The person who actually knows how to solve problems, not motivational speeches, not all this other stuff that we're out here doing. Somebody who's reading off the handout and reading slides and stuff. That stuff's played out. Guys, we're talking about that. We're talking about doing things at a high level. We're performance based. My whole life's about performance. I don't have time to waste to come to anybody's school and give a performance. When I show up, it's about answers, bringing tough questions and getting real answers. And that's what this is about. That's what this practice is about. That's what my training program's all about. And people who work with us, their results speak to that. I'm very excited, very appreciative of you for watching the video. I'm looking forward to working with you soon. I'll see you in class.